because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you.
Is saying she got the job based on looks when DEI is all about based on looks.
For years, The View has built its brand on attacking conservatives, pushing their own narratives, and silencing any opposing voices. Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, and the rest of the panel have made it their mission to ridicule, shame, and dismiss anyone who doesn't align with their political beliefs. But this time, their reckless words and baseless attacks may have just cost them everything. Karoline Leavitt, a young, sharp, and fearless conservative, has had enough. She didn't just respond to the latest smear campaign against her, she took legal action, sending ABC executives into a complete meltdown. The lawsuit is a direct challenge to the hypocrisy and slander that The View has been getting away with for far too long. And now the fallout is unavoidable. ABC is scrambling to contain the damage, desperate to avoid yet another major scandal. But the question remains, how much longer can The View survive on controversy before it collapses under its own weight? This isn't just about one lawsuit. It's about the very foundation of mainstream media and the unchecked power they've wielded for decades. The View has always been known for its hostility toward conservatives. The show thrives on division, consistently painting anyone who supports Donald Trump or right-wing policies as dangerous, uninformed, or outright delusional. Over the years, the hosts have spread false information, pushed baseless conspiracy theories, and openly mocked those who dare to challenge their views. Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar in particular have a long track record of making inflammatory remarks with zero consequences. They label Republicans as conspiracy theorists, yet they've been caught peddling their own misinformation time and time again. They claim to stand for women's empowerment, yet the moment a young, successful conservative woman like Karoline Leavitt gains recognition, they belittle her, attack her credibility, and try to tear her down. And ABC, they've stood by and let it happen, year after year, controversy after controversy. The View has been allowed to operate without any accountability. But now with a lawsuit looming over their heads, things are starting to change. Karoline Leavitt became the latest target of The View's smear machine, but what they didn't expect was her fighting back. It all started when Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar launched a full-scale attack on her, completely disregarding her intelligence, experience, and political success. Joy, with her usual smugness, dismissed Karoline's accomplishments, reducing her success to nothing more than her appearance. In her mind, the only reason Karoline had a career was because, in Trump's eyes, she was a 10. Not because of her work, not because of her skills, just because of how she looked. Then came Whoopi, taking things even further. She claimed that without wokeness, Karoline wouldn't even have a job. That women like her had no place in the workforce before diversity initiatives were put in place. The irony was almost laughable. These are the same women who constantly preach about empowering young professionals, who claim to stand for women's rights, yet the moment a woman they don't agree with succeeds, they do everything in their power to tear her down. The hypocrisy was blatant, but Karoline wasn't about to let it slide. Unlike so many before her who have been smeared and dismissed by The View, Karoline didn't just brush off the attack, she fought back. With a calculated and powerful response, she exposed their double standards for the world to see. She made it clear that The View doesn't actually support strong women. They only support women who align with their political ideology. If you think differently, if you challenge their narrative, they will do everything in their power to discredit and destroy you. But this wasn't just about setting the record straight. Karoline took things a step further. She filed a lawsuit, not just as a response to The View's attacks, but as a stand against the mainstream media's constant attempts to slander conservatives without consequence. This wasn't just personal, it was about sending a message. Now, the network that had allowed this behavior to continue unchecked is in full-blown panic mode. The fallout was immediate. ABC executives were in full-blown panic mode, scrambling to contain a crisis they never saw coming. For years, they had allowed The View to operate unchecked, letting Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, and the rest of the panel say whatever they wanted with zero accountability. But Karoline Leavitt's lawsuit changed everything. Behind the scenes, emergency meetings were being held as producers tried to figure out how to spin the situation. Reports suggested that even ABC insiders were questioning whether Whoopi and Joy were now liabilities rather than assets. The show had weathered countless controversies before, but this time the backlash was too big to ignore.
How ironic that Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies on The View spend their time calling Republicans the conspiracy theorists, but they have been wrong about everything they have said over the last couple of years.
The real problem? Sponsors were watching. Several major advertisers who once proudly aligned with The View were now reconsidering their partnerships. The show's reputation had become toxic, and brands didn't want to be associated with it. Losing sponsors would be a financial disaster, one that ABC couldn't afford. And then there was the legal risk. If Karoline won her case, it could open the floodgates for other conservatives to sue for defamation, setting a precedent ABC wanted to avoid at all costs. The network had a choice to make. Would they finally rein in The View and hold their hosts accountable? Or would they double down, hoping this controversy would fade like the others? One thing was clear, this wasn't just another scandal. This was a reckoning. And for the first time, ABC had no easy way out. Social media exploded within minutes of Karoline's response. Her video calling out The View's hypocrisy went viral, racking up millions of views across Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Hashtags like Cancel The View and Karoline Owns The View began trending as thousands of people voiced their support for her and their frustration with the media's blatant bias. Even those who had previously defended The View started to see the cracks in the narrative. The idea that The View was an untouchable force, immune to criticism, was crumbling. ABC executives had spent years ignoring the backlash, dismissing it as nothing more than conservative outrage. But this time, the anger wasn't just coming from conservatives, it was coming from all sides. What's happening with Karoline Leavitt and The View is just a symptom of a much bigger issue. The mainstream media has been operating under the belief that they can say whatever they want, spread whatever lies they choose, and never be held accountable. They have controlled the narrative for years, deciding who gets a platform and who gets silenced. But now people are pushing back. Karoline's lawsuit is more than just one legal battle. It's a warning shot, a sign that conservatives are no longer willing to sit back and let the media dictate reality. This is about truth, accountability, and ensuring that voices on the right are not erased or misrepresented. For years, The View has gotten away with their smear tactics, but this time they may have finally gone too far. Now, the big question remains: what happens next? Will ABC finally take responsibility and clean house? Will Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar face real consequences for their words? Or will the network double down, hoping to ride out the storm, only to watch The View collapse under its own hypocrisy? One thing is certain, this isn't over. Karoline isn't backing down. Conservatives aren't backing down. And if The View thought they could continue attacking and silencing people without pushback, they just got a wake-up call. What do you think? Has The View finally crossed the line? Should ABC take action? Or is it already too late? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're tired of the media's lies, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, because this fight for the truth is just getting started.